Hello everybody, and just here, and welcome back to Ooyukiumi no Kaina, episode 8? 8, I think. We just saw episode 7, and it is indeed episode 8 that I have queued up. I just recorded Symphogear AXZ episode 4, and what the hell, I have the energy and the time to record some more, so Ooyukiumi no Kaina it is. What happened in the previous episode? Let's start with that. We made it safely to Valgia. In Valgia, our main characters were robbed, of course, and then they eventually built some rapport with the thieves after saving the girl that the Admiral tried to use as a bait successfully, by the way. And of course, Liliha was saved by Kaina. They trust each other completely, and everything ended well eventually. Now they're hiding with the thieves, and apparently there is a big, huge main sort of an orbital tree that supposedly hasn't dried out yet. So that might be the oasis that humanity needs. And we will try to get there. Simple as. How do we get there? Well, we need a ship. Where do we get a ship? Who has ships? Valga has ships, so we're gonna have to steal one and then somehow make our way to that big tree. And what happens then? Who knows? Honestly, who the fuck knows what happens then? Won't be that easy though, since their hideout was discovered by Valgan soldiers, and now they will have to run or fight. We'll see how that ends up. And yeah, hopefully they escape Valga successfully, and they find some water, and right, what then? Do all of the people from all of the remaining cities just migrate to that big spire tree? To that big orbital tree? What if that tree also dries out? What's the plan there? I'm hoping Kaina and his knowledge of language will help them restart whatever terraforming machinery fucked up and unfuck the planet, but we will see how that goes. We learned a lot of interesting things about Valga. First of all, it's kind of a shithole. There is barely any water, and what water there is can barely be cold water. There's probably starvation as well, let's be honest. A lot of the people aren't native Valgians. They have been kidnapped or otherwise procured from nations that Valgia managed to conquer, which is a very interesting way of ensuring your population is high enough. We also learned about Valgia that initially it was the floating fortress was some sort of a rescue initiative where they were going orbital tree to orbital tree, helping people from those failing nations. But eventually they just started going around and fighting those nations for water because it started running out everywhere. That's an interesting tea, by the way. You can no longer get it at the store where I got it, which is kind of a bummer. Unsweetened cold brew green gyokuro tea. I didn't know you can cold brew tea, but apparently you can. Okay, what else needs to be said about the previous episode? Not really much more. Oh, right, the Admiral has a monster, apparently, that not even Amelothe can win against, and I'm assuming that's the big fuck of robot with a glowing eye that we will have to face off against sooner or later. And I don't think just martial prowess will be enough to defeat it. Unless maybe Kaina with his laser cutter, that would be one way. Or Kaina can just speak some debug code and just turn it off because it's a robot, it's a dumb robot that just obeys commands, and if Kaina knows the command, Kaina can do anything to it. Would be interesting. Would be interesting, and it would play with my very initial prediction very early on that people other than Kaina and some other people in the canopy aren't really literate. Notice how there isn't any signage. There isn't any books, there isn't any papers anywhere. Right? You'd think that the king of Atlant would have some papers on his desk. No. You'd think there would be some signage in Valgia, right? Get your water here, or dockyard, or something like that. But no. Language is completely written. Language is completely and utterly absent from this world. Interesting how it happened, and it also has some very interesting connotations. As for today's episode, kind of hard to tell because episodes of Ooyukiumi no Kaina can be very short or very long. I mean, it's always 24 minutes, but either a lot of things happen or not a lot of things happen. Kind of hard to predict. I'm assuming we will at least get out of the predicament of Valgan soldiers having found the thieves' hideout, and we're going to run, and we might even procure a ship and set off towards the big orbital tree. We need to remember that this is episode 8, so how many do we have left? 8, 9, 10, 11. There is no episode 12, you gotta remember that. There's a movie instead. So 4 episodes. Yeah, we have time. We have time. Okay. So, I think I said what needed to be said. So how about we just start watching it, right? And to do that, you're gonna need your subs, of course, to follow along with me. I'm gonna need my sound to hear what's going on. I'm gonna also have to ask you for your support. Support the channel if you want monetarily, Patreon, throw links in the description below, or not. Share my content, spread the word. It's completely free, costs you nothing, helps a lot. And with all of that out of the way, we can start watching episode 8 of Ooyukiumi no Kaina in 3, 2, 1, go. Starting right where we left off. Indeed. Do you have another way out? Okay. And we're keeping with the theme of paddle going straight through the bottom. I mean, that's their best shot, honestly. Finding some orbital tree, huge orbital tree, is their one and only shot at humanity surviving. And that is hardly a boat. Oh, some water. Okay, some pure water from Atlant. Right, she always wanted to try some real water. Okay, that was very nice. That was a very nice moment. And they are now part of the Brotherhood of Skull. Oh, does he not plan on staying alive? Or was he taken aback by Kaina promising that they will be back? I hope it's the latter. I hope they survive. Thankfully, Valgia doesn't keep any books on what ships are leaving and coming to the harbor and has no observation towers to notice them. Although, granted, it is nighttime. And they don't really have, like, searchlights, so... Okay, it's fine. I take it back. Well, this whole thread ended much earlier than I thought. I really thought they are going to steal one of Valgia ships and use it to sail towards the Great Orbital Tree. But apparently they just got a fucking Europallet and are going back to Atlant. And Atlant does not have a navy, so Atlant can't give them shit to get to the orbital tree. Unless they somehow build a ship at Atlant? How though? Do they even have the know-how of building ships? Do they have the materials? Or are they just going to get the sea stags? No, sea horses? Whatever was the name of those dolphin seal-looking creatures. Nope, not at all. Would mean, yeah, you end up very far away. Okay, so they know navigation by stars. Right, like during daytime you can at least see orbital trees. Compass? Do Valgians maybe possess a compass, like a one singular one that the Admiral has? Yeah. True. Yeah. Worry about getting as far away as you can. And when the morning comes, course correct if need be. Ah, you fucking tsundere. She'd rather it be Kaina, but... Dartfish singing? Yep, Dartfish singing. Yeah, be careful. Does he not have the floating pouch thing? Wait, how heavy is he? Or is the water like actively pulling you underneath the water? Right, Liliha had to steer the ship away. Spores are falling. Yeah, you won't have any visibility even during daytime. I think, yeah. I mean, you at least had some visibility underwater. You could at least see where you're going. For all you know, you might be going right back to Valgia. That feels very much like a penultimate episode, with all the reminiscing and stuff. Right. That's what they were thinking. I love the word babatachi. Oh no, they touched hands. Yeah, having to piss. Ah, giant tree fly. Okay, sure. I guess that was also tough on them. Yeah, don't. Okay, maybe see like from far away, but not from close up. Okay, it's the morning. And they hit some sort of a shallows. Some sort of an orbital tree. A random one, or is it the orbital tree? You have? Atland? Okay, now hope your ship didn't drift away. Because you can't walk on routes with just 2 rebreathers. Okay, it's still here. I honestly thought they're gonna lose it. No joke. Are Atlanteans gonna shoot at them? Okay, they're preparing for war. No drama. Okay. I It's weird seeing him happy that they are safe. I'm not gonna lie. Good, man. What kind of a word is it? I think he said Kaina dono? Wouldn't that be like Sir Kaina? Okay, that's a very nice moment. Everybody's morale is up immediately. A fucking boy from the canopy saved her. Is there anything else that you just can't believe? It ain't a lie, though. Evacuation? Right, if they start shooting at the fortress, your friends inside will die. You get your own harem. We're gonna wash your back. Is that what's going on? Oh, don't get grumpy. It's not Kaina's fault. Okay, so steam bath is just sauna. Of course they are joining. Does it? Allow us to make it more steamy. I did not expect that in this show. Oh, a massage? Okay, just a massage. Just an innocent massage, that's fine. Okay, good. Good. I was afraid it's gonna be something else. Who are you gesturing for? Liliha? Oh, no, a random old dude. Okay. Well, that was a bait and switch. Does it at least feel good, though? Oh, hello, Liliha. Did not expect to see you there. Did she really not notice Kaina? He was right in front of... Okay. See, you were jealous over nothing. Okay, at least one, like, calm, lonely, not lonely, but calm moment to talk for them both. Alone, without anybody else, and without any danger. You said that once already. Before, in different situation. if he stayed in his village, then he would eventually just die alone. So... Oh, she's gonna give him a massage. This time actually gentle one. Yeah, and she wants to help them both. Yep. They're victims of the circumstances. They aren't the villains. Yeah. Yep. And the only way is to find water. Correct. Yep. Could you, like, bait the Valgians into chasing you towards that tree? Just, you know... Writing? Yep. And I was correct, they have no concept of writing. Okay. Great orbital tree. What should be great sale, cheap rugs. It's empirical evidence. And of course. Slap? Classic. Okay, a bit more than a slap. Okay, Valgian battleships. They don't have a lot of time at Atlant, no, do they? Ooh, some cool music. Is that the robot? It vaguely looks like a gun turret on top. In some ways, this series really reminds me of... What was the one with mushrooms? I forgot the name of the one with mushrooms. Fuck. There were mushroom keepers and also a robot and Rust, everything. Sabiku Ibisco. Sabiku Ibisco. Rust Eater, Sabiku Ibisco. Yep. Really reminds me of Sabiku Ibisco. In that the world ended essentially for all intents and purposes, but there are still bits and pieces of technology that people don't really understand. and don't really know, but it can be usable. And the villain uses a piece of such technology for his villainous purposes. Okay, nothing after credits, as usual. In general, I really like post-apocalyptic series where the apocalypse happened in the future from now, right? Like post-apocalyptic media that depicts year 2050 after the collapse in 2030. It's just like whatever. Oh, they unearthed an artifact and don't know what it is, but it's a microwave, right? That's not exciting. They unearthed something and they don't know what it is, but I don't know what it is either. That's exciting. What the fuck is that thing? Is it a laser gun? Is it a robot? What is it? Right? That really gets me pumped up. So I'm glad they. Glad that they went in that direction. It was in that direction from the very get-go. I enjoy it. That's how I'm gonna say it. And now I'm going to enjoy watching this video again. Shall we? Yes, we shall. Okay. We've got trouble. Soldiers are headed this way. We built it to use once we found a spire tree we could keep to ourselves. Do you really believe it's something that would happen, though? Like, Valgia just comes by a perfectly fine orbital tree with water and whatnot, and they just don't do anything about it. And you can just take that orbital tree for yourself. Did you really think that's gonna happen? They probably didn't, but they wanted something to hope for. And that's why they built this boat. If you make it to Atlant safely and manage to survive, yeah, find the orbital tree. Giving some orbital tree water to Chiru. That's a very nice, very cute moment. I'm glad for Chiru that she was able to get some of that water, that she was able to taste it, at least a little bit. Take an oath on the skull. Stay alive until we see you again. And this is a weird reaction. Just taken aback and then, oh, right, see ya. You could interpret it in two ways. Either, oh, he wants to see us again, but Valgians and Atlanteans are enemies, and I thought we are just sending them off, and he wants to see us again. Oh, okay, yeah, right, okay, right, see ya. You could interpret it in that way, or you could interpret it in a, oh, fuck, the soldiers are coming for us, and they will know that we harbor them, and the soldiers will kill us all. Fuck, we're all gonna die, but, right, see you, Kaina, we'll be there, and we'll be alive, for sure we will, right? I don't know which way is the correct one here, but I hope it's the former. I hope they don't die. Or at least Chiru survives. And they go to float. Well, float down here, Johnny. Or however the line went. Lost at a sea. We don't know where we're headed. On the canopy, sure, these stars are unobstructed, so you can use them perfectly fine for navigation. They don't have any stars here, because the clouds, because the canopy itself isn't fully translucent either. Heavy snowfall, and of course the branches also obstruct the sky. Makes sense. The world stays consistent. Atlant is far away, so yeah, being off by a little bit now would mean they end up where they shouldn't, right? Like when you're going up and you have a very short distance then if you screw up a little, then you only screw up a little. But when you have a long distance and you screw up a little, you screw up a lot. So that's a genuine problem. Thankfully, it all worked out in the end. About the canopy, yeah, we could always see the stars, but there are no landmarks at night. That's a big problem. During the day, you can orient yourself by orbital trees, but during the night, there's nothing. Valgians are able to move at night. I'm guessing compasses. Valgia has compasses. Do I have enough space? Yeah, I do. Okay, I do. I don't have to be... I don't have to condense my words too much. There must be a way that we don't know about. Compass would be the easiest one, of course. If only everyone would share valuable information. Yeah? Yeah. From what it seems, all of the cities are very insular. Very insular. Very isolated from each other. To the point where it's just Valgia that's the common thing between them. I don't think there were any like messengers going between those countries, cities. Interesting how that happened. In contrast to the cities on the canopy, cities, villages on the canopy that had at least the sign keepers that go from village to village, teaching a language and learning language from the local signs, I'm assuming, and also bringing some, some word from other villages, right? Your granddaughter that went to that other village had a baby and she told me to, pass that information to you. Wouldn't surprise me if the sign keepers also worked as postmen, essentially. If only everyone would share valuable information. That seems like a like foreshadowing for like the very, very, very end, where they create one happy civilization and everybody shares information, everybody's happy. What should we do? Are we gonna keep moving? I mean, that's the only thing you can do, really. In the morning you will be able to see the trees, but right now, no. You can't. You can't orient yourself. This is interesting. I'm assuming that's the dartfish, but like a big dartfish. The sound is interesting, though. Usually, animals produce like one kind of sound. Even humans, like, right? Like, no matter what language humans use, no matter who you hear, the sound is more or less kind of the same frequency range of the voice, right? The same goes for other animals. Whales have just one kind of a call. Even parrots, even birds, even, I don't know, crickets and cats and every kind of animal, every kind of creature emits just one range, one kind of sound. This sound sounds very varied. There is some whale calls, there is some weird, like, fucking, whatchamacallit, the huge antenna left after the fall of the Soviet Union that emits some sound or what have you, right? Mixed with some electronic interference, mixed with some synth kind of sounds. And the sounds also overlay. When animals emit sound, they can emit just one kind of sound at once, right? Because they usually have just a single sound emitting organ, whatever that organ might be. this thing creates sounds that overlap. There's a bit of this sound and a bit of this sound and a bit of that sound. They don't create like a singular sound, they are layers. I might be looking way too deep into it, but it really well plays into my theory that those things are not organic. Or at least not fully organic. They are either bioengineered or they are some sort of machines inspired by biology. Alternatively, they are alien creatures, and each of those four fins has its own way of generating sound, so they can create sounds that overlap. Or there's more dartfish underwater, not just the single one, and each sound comes from a different dartfish. Of course, other explanations can be had here, but I like playing into my own theories, so what can I do? Interesting that Yaona just sinks like a rock, and even Kaina has issues pulling him up. Very interesting. We know that they don't float on water, right? But that would mean that the water just has low density. So sure, you sink really fast, but you also can be pulled up really fast, because if it has low density, it has low friction, right? Low resistance. But Kaina is really struggling. Like here, he's really struggling trying to pull Yaona out. I wonder, what the fuck is this substance? I wonder. Could it be something that has low density but high viscosity? Not really, I don't think so. Okay, they are roped in. Let's slow down, stay on the lookout, and even during the day you won't be able to see, but of course it cleared up during the day, so that's good. Yeah, I'm talking about traveling through the routes. It kind of feels like the midpoint of the season. Kind of like the penultimate episode, right? Everybody reminiscing of the adventures we had. But in retrospect, I think it also feels like a perfectly good midpoint. It's not in the middle, but it is the midpoint of the story. Right? We kind of reset to status quo. We go back where we came from. We get a breather, right? We can reset, we can resupply, we can reorganize, and then go back to tackling the story. I think this is the main purpose of this episode. That's why we sum up our adventures. We talk a little about our plans, we talk about our feelings, we get to clean up, we get to resupply, and then we are ready for further adventures. You wouldn't believe the obstacles we face climbing down the spire tree. Yep. What did the villagers think of you? They wanted to wed me to Kaina. What else can I say? But of course, everyone was very nice. They made her some clothes. Instead, they gave us tools so we can climb down. And hand touch, of course. Oh no, our hands are touching. What was the biggest challenge? Having to take a piss. What else? Now, of course, it's a huge fly. Interesting that they omitted the glowing mushroom. I wonder if it's has some properties that doesn't register it in like long-term memory. They just quickly forget about it. That's a long shot. That's a long shot. This isn't Atlant, but it's a familiar route, of course. And Atlant is right here, so they overshot it. Perfect. I honestly thought something's going to go awry still, like this is going to float away, or perhaps there were Valgian ships tailing them, and they're just going to, accidentally bring Valgians to Atlant or something like that. or that here they will start shooting at the raft. Prepare for the landing operation. Sure. This is cool. Club made of seashell. That's great. That's great. I like it. Liliha and Yana made it back. The boy from the canopy brought them. Yeah, there is some writing on this on this tapestry. He is oddly happy. I honestly didn't, after what he pulled before, like, oh, if she dies, whatever. I didn't expect him to be happy that his children are back. Goodman Kaina. How do you translate Dono to Dono to Goodman? What does Goodman even mean? This is the first time I see this word. Is the title, does Dono actually translate to Goodman? I always thought it translates to like sir. That's a miracle. There's a nation of the canopy, so we have a chance at beating Valgia. Yes and no. You don't have a chance at beating them, you have a chance at postponing the war. Assuming, and I'm still coming back to that, assuming the Admiral actually wants the good of Valgia, and he doesn't just want to wage war. Because the Admiral might as well be like, oh, the great orbital spire tree that has unlimited water? Suppress the news about it, because if it gets out, I won't have the soldiers to wage war, and I want to wage war. War. Which is something that the Admiral strikes me as. That even if there was a solution to all of their problems, he would rather keep the problems so that he can have an excuse to wage war. I think I'm onto something. We can prevent this war if we find the great orbital spire tree. Oh, it's absurd tale. Oh, they won't believe those lies. Oh, whoa. We're done with this conversation. Also, is it just me, or is Kaina's green elements kind of more vibrant? I think early on they were less vibrant. I might just be tripping, though. Steam baths. They are evacuating the citizens to some great hole. Interesting. Your intel that the mobile fortress is just for show was useful. And she's shocked and she's sad because, oh yeah, the fortress is just for show. So we can bombard it, we can burn it, and everybody aboard will burn with it. Great plan. Except Liliha made some friends on board, and except the fortress is filled with non-combatants. So it's morally ambiguous at best, right? You are saving your own people by destroying the fortress of the enemy, but you also kill the innocent people inside of that fortress, so an iffy situation all around. Mr. Kaina is a hero, he deserves a hero's welcome. Please don't be nervous, lay on the stomach. And the punchline is that it's an old Jude masseuse, and not pretty girls. This bit overstayed its welcome just a little bit. Not much, it doesn't bother me, but it could have been shortened just a little bit. Somehow Liliha didn't notice him. I noticed it's a common thing in this show that people are just fucking blind. Valgians are blind, Atlanteans are blind. No wonder Yauna thought that Kaina has eagle eye. Kaina has just normal eyesight. Maybe he's even a little bit nearsighted, but everybody around him is fucking blind. Oh, phew, you got a massage from a man, that's fine. And yeah, at last a chance for them to talk without their lives being in danger. And episodes like that and moments like that are really important in storytelling, I feel. When the story is just constant tension and constant action and constantly something going on, it just, the tension just rises and rises and rises and rises and rises, and it eventually just kind of has diminishing returns, right? So you need a reset moment so that the tension can start rising from scratch, from zero. That's actually a bit of an issue I have with Arknight's storytelling. Arknights is a great game, don't get me wrong, it has some great storytelling, but all of the stories are just constant tension and constant stakes and constantly something going on and constant drama and constant tragedy. You have like one light-hearted event a year, maybe two, and besides that, it's just you get desensitized. So I'm glad we have a moment of respite. It's, in my opinion, it's very important in any sort of storytelling. It's important in games to have some hub city or something like that where you can just go and just rest. There are no enemies, there are no world ending events. You can just go there and sort out your equipment, sell shit you don't need, buy some new health potions, stuff like that. In books, it's very important to have a moment, a chapter of respite. In anime, it's important to have an episode of rest. In manga and in everything, probably in tabletop as well, but I wouldn't know. I haven't played any tabletop games, but I would assume it's also important to, like, every 3 or 2 sessions you get the party back to town, and for a moment there's nothing that's needed from them, no world ending threat, no enemies, no nothing, and then you start the drama back. So I can appreciate this episode. Don't look this way, of course. I was really happy. We got separated, so I was worried. If you stayed in your village, you wouldn't have been in danger. Yeah, but he would have just died alone. That's a choice. Do you go and experience some thrill and live and die, but die surrounded by people? Or do you just die alone in peace? Sure, without strife, but alone and kind of in a boring way. You just lay down one day and not wake up and without anybody around you. That would suck. Proper massage from Liliha. Massage from the princess herself. If that's not a reward, I don't know what is. Once I got to Valga, I realized that they have their own problems. Yeah, there are children like Nose and Chire, indeed. Doesn't excuse the way the Valiant steal water, but there is a way to save everybody. She has a heart of gold. What can I say? She will be a worthy ruler. When humanity is united under the great orbital tree, she will make an amazing ruler of humanity. I have no doubt. If we have water, everyone can keep living. Indeed, that's like genuinely their best shot at living as a human race, finding that orbital tree. Telling them doesn't mean they'll believe us. Yeah, you will need evidence, written words. This just plays perfectly into my theory that where is it? Where is it? I swear I noted it somewhere. Or maybe I didn't. Maybe I just mentioned it. Yeah, I don't want to read in depth into my notes, but I worded out, said that theory once. I think written words. What does that mean? Yeah, weird signs spell on boards and something similar in the basement. Similar ones in your dad's room, but I couldn't read them because they are faded so much. Perhaps. I think they were actual words. I bet it says Great Orbital Spiral Tree. It would be funny and tragic since it's a tapestry or something if it actually said like Great Sail or Great King whatever visited this place on 22nd of September or some trite bullshit like that. It would be tragic and funny, not gonna lie. What are written words from the canopy doing in the castle's basement? I think it went the other way around. Civilization was on the ground, but then the ground started going to shit, so some of the civilization migrated up, and they took some words with them. Simple as. Or perhaps as the trees were growing, they would carry the signs ingrown in them, they would carry them up, and people of the canopy would find them. Marks similar to the ones I used in my village were there. I guess ish. Yeah, there are some marks here, sure. I wonder if every rhombus is an orbital tree. If they're actually planted in a pattern. Yeah, there are some symbols here. Interesting. Also interesting if those words are there on the surface. Why do people of the surface not know written language? How many generations does it need? How many generations does a civilization need to forget the concept of written word? And why would they forget that concept? It's super fucking useful. Being able to write and read is extremely useful. It's one of the core things that allowed human civilization to exist. Without writing, we would still be flinging shit at each other and eating raw berries from the forest. Honestly, writing is what made civilization because it's simply so important and so useful. You can note down how much grain you got. You can codify your laws. You can place a sign saying what a building is, right? It's so incredibly important. You can write down your traditions, you can write down your knowledge to pass it forward. That spoken word simply cannot do because spoken word gets malformed in as it passes. A written word stays written. What had to happen for the entire civilization of the surface and of the canopy to a degree to completely forget about the concept of a written word? Like, you could say, sure, all of civilization was completely wiped. Completely. There are no ruins, there are no vehicles, there are no machines, there are no books, no signs, just a couple rusted signs somewhere in the canopy, but there's nothing besides that. But you take a piece of charcoal, you take a piece of bark, and you write. Right? Like, if civilization ends one day, I don't know, nuclear winter, the fucking whatchamacallit, volcano in the Yellowstone erupting, aliens wipe us out, whatever, writing and language will prevail. I fully believe that. Humanity might forget everything else, but not writing. They might start using different characters, whatever, but they will write and they will read because it's simply this important for the existence of civilization. So, what happened? What happened? Marks similar to the ones, yeah. It might be a map. Father will surely trust the castle's historic relics. Let's go get that map. Will you have the time before Valga attacks, though? That's a question. And will your discovery convince Valga? Or what's your plan dealing with Valga here? That's also a question. Do you find those relics, you convince your father, and then your father just says, okay, yeah, ceasefire, take Valgans in, we will explain them that we can find water. Is that the plan? Is the plan for Atlant to keep Valga occupied for long enough for Liliha, Kaina, and Yauna to travel to that orbital tree and find actual, like, I know, a bucket of water or something, actual, evidence of it existing, and bringing it back and showing empirical evidence to Valga that, hey, yo, there's water, you don't need to fight? I wonder what's the plan here. And boobs. Bigger than I thought. I'm gonna say that. Much bigger than I thought. And probably first time Kaina sees any. And of course a classic slap. Valgans are on the move, and they are bringing something with them. That looks like a mecha. That looks like a mecha. Either some sort of a vehicle, but it has those like leg-looking things and hand-looking things. I think I can discern on its left shoulder like fingers, like one arm is curled like that, kinda. And I think it's a turret on top or some comms or something. It's also towed by 3 boats. It doesn't look like the giant from the opening. But it seems to be Valgia's trump card. And another thing that we need to question, what will Amelothe do? What will Amelothe do? I wonder if Kaina, Liliha, and Yauna are going to search for the orbital tree. Amelothe is going to chase them, while the Admiral and the rest of the Navy will be busy bombarding Atlant. Amelothe will be sent after them. And Amelothe herself will see, hey, yo, fuck. It actually exists. We actually don't need to fight. Huh. Amelothe. Accent on the first E. Amelothe chases trio to great tree, gets convinced to stop fighting and join. Another thing that makes me think about that it's what's going to happen is, I think it was in the opening, the scene of, no, it was here, right? Amelothe looking up with sword at the ready and the rest of her troops just laying down there. And those also looking up. They're looking up at the robot, aren't they? Amelothe returns, says, hey, yo, we can solve our issues with water. Stop the robot. There is no need for bloodshed. We can all just share this great orbital tree and have all the water we might need. And the Admiral is like, but I like war. How about that? And activates the robot, smacks the button, and the robot starts attacking. Because the Admiral likes war and he doesn't want a solution, he wants a problem. because problem allows him to fight, and the solution would just render him obsolete. You don't need a war general if there's no war. Simple as. And so Amelothe and all of those people are facing against that big, huge robot. That's my prediction, at least. We'll see where it goes, actually. Okay. That was a cool episode. We got some much needed rest. Everything went with much less drama than I thought it would. Like, at every scene, I was wondering, how is it gonna go wrong? What's gonna go tits up? Nothing did. Nothing did. Which also kind of makes me question. Well, I wanted to say it makes me question what was the purpose of the drama with them being lost at the sea, if it essentially turned out to be inconsequential. Sure, they were lost at the sea, but they found Atlant in the end, so. But it gave them a chance to talk, to pour their heart out a little bit, their doubts, their hopes. So, sure, it mattered for character development. Didn't really matter much for story progression, though, because they found their way to Atlant anyway. What else? This episode being a break also came as kind of a surprise. I was wholly convinced that they will find a ship at Valgia and they will sail towards the orbital tree right from the get-go. There will be no break, maybe like an episode of break as they are on the ship and they are sailing. They need to wait until they get there, so might as well spend the time talking and playing some board games or whatever, right? But no, we went back to Atlant, and although, yeah, that tapestry in the basement in the ruins of the old city will probably be crucial in one way or another, so it makes sense that we are back at Atlant. What else? Right, well, this episode was very much a break episode, very much one that, lets us settle a little. It also started essentially a whole new adventure for us. Initially, the adventure was climbing down the tree, and we went to Atlant. There was a moment of respite, moment of rest, and then the next adventure saving Liliha. Now we're back at Atlant, a moment of respite, next adventure going for the Great Orbital Tree. I'm assuming it's going to take us a good couple of episodes. I'd say in the next episode, so episode 9, we will set off towards that tree. We'll find the evidence for it and we'll set off. Although set off with what? Atlant doesn't have navy. Are they just gonna use their raft and maybe put a couple of seahorses in reins to carry them? I don't know, I'm not sure. Episode 10 and 11 will be probably adventures at the Great Spire Tree and their way back. Assuming, of course, Valgia doesn't chase them, like, entirely. And then the movie will be the final battle against Valgia and the solution and the unification of humanity. Do we know how long the movie is going to be? That's also a question that might answer to which will also answer some questions, I guess. Ooyukiumi no Kaina on AniList. Sequel, Ooyukiumi no Kaina movie. Not yet released, episodes 1. No. AniList doesn't list the length of it. My anime list. My anime list doesn't even have any image there or description. No, everything is NA. Everything is NA. Interesting. Yeah, because depending on how long the movie is, it will also tell us something about how the story is going to go. Because if it's a movie as in a long episode, like 40-50 minutes, then of course it's going to be different. If the movie is full length, full form, 2 hour long movie, right? Because 2 hours, it's like almost 6 episodes, 5 episodes, or thereabouts. So, right? It's the difference between a series that has 13 episodes and a series that has, 17 of them. Yeah, the existence of the movie complicates matters a little. Not gonna lie. When it comes to predictions, at least. But yeah, sticking to the present, this episode was cool. It was great. I don't really have much criticism besides everybody being kind of blind, but that's kind of a norm in this show. But maybe you have something more to say. If you do, say so in the comments down below. What did you think of this episode, of my reaction, my theories, stuff like that? I know episodes 9 and 10 are already out. Don't spoil it to me, please. I know I'm behind. If you do want to talk spoilers, however, there's my Discord. Link is here, also linked in the description below. Click the link, join it, and you can talk about Ooyukiumi and Kaina spoilers in the special channel. And I'm not gonna read them because you're gonna use spoiler tags and everybody's happy. Like this video if you liked it, dislike it if you disliked it, but tell me why so I can improve. Subscribe to the channel to be notified of future releases of not only Ooyukiumi and Kaina, but also Benriya, Saitou-san, Isekai ni Iku, and Symphogear AXZ, and others that will be coming in the future. I also stream sometimes, so you might want to click the bell icon to be notified for when I go live. Support the channel if you want monetarily. Patreon thrown links in the description below. On Patreon for $10 a month to get early access to non-seasonal shows like Symphogear, like Madoka Magica and others. And for just $1, you get a role on the Discord and a place in the credits. And on Throne, you can pitch in directly towards my purchase of better gear, better software, stuff like that. And if you don't want to spend any money whatsoever, share my content, spread the word, costs you absolutely nothing and helps the channel a lot. And now with all of that out of the way, that's gonna be it from me for today. So as always, you guys do the good stuff and I'm gonna see you in the next one. Cheers. And here is the list of patrons, and you can be one of them, and you don't need to conquer Atlant to do that or something.